Yeah? Good.
Hello fandom! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Candace, aka Geeky Candy, bringing you a deep dive on the new Mandalorian final trailer. I've got Easter eggs, I've got predictions, and I bet you I've got some details that you might have overlooked that first run through. I'll tell you, I did too. I've watched it several times now, and ever since my first reaction video, which you can catch right up here, I definitely felt some conviction to do some real deep digging in this trailer. Give it some time, really process what I'm seeing, go frame by frame and unpack this trailer to find every little bit of juicy nugget detail that I could find, and hopefully gain a better understanding of what we are going to look forward to on November 12th when The Mandalorian debuts. So, spoiler warning in case any of my predictions do happen to come true. This is fair warning, and with that, let's get started. So the Mandalorian series begins with staked stormtrooper helmets with the heads perhaps still in them. Is the same scene we had before in the first trailer. However, this time we are graced with Werner Herzog's iconic voice, giving us some new insights on the setting in which this series begins.
Is the world more peaceful since the revolution?
So the staked stormtrooper helmets gives us the implication that the Empire has indeed fallen. During the past few days, we've even gotten confirmation that there's going to be a major spoiler going to be released on the first episode of the series on November 12th. Well, my hunch is that the spoiler will contain information regarding the current state of the galaxy, giving the viewers a complete understanding of where we are in terms of power and politics as the story unfolds.
Crawling with vulture droids.
Oh, I see it. Oh, this is going to be easy.
The Mandalorian is said to take place 5 years after the Return of the Jedi and 25 years before The Force Awakens. Chaos is everywhere as leftovers from the Galactic Republic scrambles for new territories and power. I believe there's going to be infighting between factions of the leftover empire, and ultimately all order is lost, creating a wild west of sorts within our beloved Star Wars galaxy. Here we see the Mandalorian and his proposed pal, an Ugnaught named Quill, writing a couple blurgs. A couple of things I'd like to mention here. The character of Quill was released in the Mandalorian toy line, and upon closer inspection of the new movie posters released, I think we're getting a glimpse of Nick Nolte's character here. I don't believe we've yet received confirmation of that, but just check out the likeness. It's undeniable. I just gotta say, if you don't recall, Ugnaughts were the aliens that were handling the carbonite operations back in Empire Strikes Back. And so I'm thinking that perhaps Quill is helping the Mandalorian with his carbonite and case bounties. So originally I thought that they were riding in on some dewbacks, but on closer look, they're definitely riding something that's bipedal, which made me think the blurg was a better pick. Blurgs originated in the 1985 made-for-TV film Ewoks: The Battle for Endor, but they also made appearances in Clone Wars and Rebels, and even Battlefront 2. They are certainly interesting creatures, and I'm happy to see them make another appearance in the show. Okay, so I absolutely love how we get this visual of our Mandalorian with his hand on his holstered blaster at his hip. It's just as if we're about to take part in a duel in some Western film. Throughout this trailer, you can clearly see multiple instances where Team Favroni, that's what I'm going to start calling Favreau and Filoni because I'm tired of saying both their names. It's going to be Favroni. Harkened back to the old spaghetti Western dramas. So in this next action sequence, we get some great insights in terms of weapon use and overall fight style that our Mandalorian employs as he takes out some baddies. However, there is some division in the fandom as to who these baddies really are. Some are leaning towards Trandoshans, like Bosk the Bounty Hunter. Others, including myself, are thinking perhaps that they might be a couple of vibro-axe-wielding Klatooinians. Yes, the Klatooinian species are known for their strong builds and resilient features, making it easy for them to work across the galaxy as bounty hunters and hired muscle. Perhaps they could be contracted hitmen on the Mandalorian. Who knows? They are located mostly on Tatooine and their home planet of Klatooine. There are many rumors suggesting that a majority of this series is going to be set on Tatooine, and we've seen a lot of set imagery, I think, confirming that now. So now we see our Mandalorian in some worn down armor. Not quite the ensemble that we catch him in later in this trailer, so perhaps maybe he's working on a bounty to fund some new Beskar treads. I particularly love the use, though, of this Ambient Phase Pulse Blaster. It's a nice little nod back to the that Star Wars TV holiday special show that, when we got our first glimpse of Boba Fett, who happened to also be wielding this weapon as well. So after that battle, we now get a shot of one of the Klatooinians getting a carbonite facial. So back in Empire Strikes Back, carbonite was not used to transport living beings prior to Han Solo. So the practice now must have caught on among the bounty hunters in the wake of that event. We're also now getting a great glimpse inside the cargo hold of the Mandalorian's whip, or also can be called the Razor Crest. IGN posted some photos of this cool looking ship, including an interior shot. Basically, the ship is just a repurposed freighter in a similar unloading style to Boba Fett's Slave One. Okay, I love seeing the Razor Crest just pop in from hyperdrive and immediately follow it into this new world that's really given me Endor vibes, or maybe Kashyyyk vibes. Seriously beautiful. So I count 5 bounties here being unloaded. That's like a good haul, perhaps, for some coin to upgrade that armor of his. So Favreau always spoke about how he loved the Mos Eisley Cantina in A New Hope, and he really wanted to give us the same vibes with his world building here. So I think that he hit the nail on the head here in terms of the diverse alien baddies, including a Rodian, which is one of my faves. Just eyeing the Mandalorian, giving him the stink eye as he walks in. It's almost like a Western hero walking into a saloon, again with that iconic Western imagery.
They said you were the best in the parsec.
So are you loving the parsec line too? It's just another nod to the famous line that Han made in the original trilogy, followed up again with another mention in Solo. Not sure if it's used correctly or not, but I don't really care.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's a ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
So he's opening a door to a room full of stormtroopers here who seem to be completely unaware of his arrival. So I'm getting the feeling that they have been perhaps hiding out since the fall of the Empire.
They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree?
So I love Herzog's demeanor and voice here. Gosh, they did a perfect casting with him. You can tell he's going to play the villain extremely well, be it a large or a small role. In this series, I think that his voice, his tone, it's just perfect. And I love that they chose these lines by him to narrate this trailer. You can see his medallion there. It's a clear symbol of his allegiance also to the Galactic Empire. So this scene made me smile like a kid at Christmas. I love the quick draw nature of our fight scenes that we have with the Mandalorian. He totally embodies that quick shooter imagery straight out of a John Wayne film. So a couple of important details here. Do you notice the new shiny armor? Perhaps that was an upfront payment for a bounty that no one else would take, or simply it could be an upgrade that he paid for with those bounties that we saw him bring in. Either way, you can clearly see how well made this Mandalorian armor is, as blasters simply bounce off the shoulder plate. Mandalorian armor is made from Beskar. It's a highly durable and rare metal that's able to withstand blaster fire while giving the user maximum protection. That stuff ain't cheap. You know, the other detail here to note is the location. Notice the door with 3 holes to the right? Yeah, keep that in mind as another scene from this trailer pops up towards the end. So here we see a child donning some strange looking red clothing. This child could perhaps be the Mandalorian in some weird flashback kind of scene, or maybe this child's just some random kid that the Mandalorian's set to save. But either way, is it just me, or does the clothes that this child's wearing look just like Palpatine's robes from Empire Strikes Back? Just me? It's really weird, right? So as the child looks up, what does the child see? A Clone Wars era HMP, heavy missile platform, droid gunship. Ah! I was so excited to see this. We have not seen these since I think it was Battle of Kashyyyk and Revenge of the Sith. It's been a while and I'm glad they made a return. I love the droids. I'm all about the Roger, 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 Roger. They're so fun. I just love this. That gunship is so amazing looking too. And just seeing it peek through those clouds like that. That was a really fun moment there in that trailer. So, and now we have one of my favorite frames of the whole trailer. There is so much to unpack here. Let's just get this first part right out of the way. There's super battle droids. Those are awesome looking. Look at the design. I mean, they're so just the way they're moving and everything. They look very well done. I'm excited to see more of them. My big question though, if the Empire's fallen, who's operating them? Because somebody has to be pulling the strings behind the curtain here. They don't just move on their own. They have to have someone directing them. And so, yeah, who would that be? If that's not the case, then the other option could be perhaps more evidence towards the flashback thing, or this could be something that happened in the history of Mandalore, perhaps the siege of Mandalore. That was a pretty important time, and if that would be a part where maybe we see the what happened to our Mandalorian's family, what made him want to become the bounty hunter that he is today, sort of an origin story, if you will. Yeah, that's really interesting. But here is something even more interesting. There happened to be a certain Jedi stationed on Mandalore during the siege of Mandalore. Can you guess who that might be? Yep. You probably all guessed it. Obi-Wan, who happens to also have a series on Disney Plus currently in production. So that's quite the convergent point, right? I mean, between these two series, it would make sense for that to be perhaps the event taking place here. Makes sense to me to show kind of the history of the Mandalorian, how he came to be, especially in the first episode or in this trailer. I just think that that's kind of what this is alluding to. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I feel like I'm on the right track there. I don't know. It feels right. But anyway, so the other thing too, again, with these red clothes, the only other thing I could think of, again, it's weird, but it also comes from the holiday special, the TV Star Wars holiday special, which is, again, where we first saw our first glimpse of Boba Fett. They had the Wookiees in their Life Day attire, and that was all these red cloaks. So I don't know if that's like an Easter egg, a nod to the holiday special again, or if there's some other significance to this red clothing. But it's really bothering me that I can't figure it out. So I'm just going to keep throwing ideas out there. Sorry. Also, in an ET interview recently, there was mention of the Life Day red cloaks worn by those Wookiees. So maybe I'm on the right track there.
I loved the amount of references that are already like right off the bat in this show. There's like a Life Day reference right off the bat. Have you guys seen the madness that is the Star Wars Holiday Special?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Boba Fett's pretty central to the holiday special. I know I'm not Boba Fett.
Okay, so now we're back to a scene that we sort of caught a little bit in the first trailer. It's honestly, I didn't mind seeing more of it because let's be honest, how often do you see a guy get doored? Like literally doored. He got doored pretty hard as far as dooring goes. So, I mean, we see the Mandalorian basically using his wrist grappler to pull in a Quarren, right? And the Quarren managed to get a shot off on the Mandalorian, so our guy decides to just end him right then, right there by a quick shot to the to the door close mechanism. Very satisfying, very fun to watch. You know, and again, that quick blaster shot from the hip. It's just more of that iconic Western film imagery that I keep saying we see callbacks to, and I love it. I love the consistency here. The theme is consistent throughout, and I appreciate that. So check out this dirty boy. I mean, what is this? The space rhino? Anyone? No? You know, if you look in Wikipedia, you can see a creature like this called a reek. And reeks are similar to this. They do have some horns coming off the sides, but there are pictures of them with those chopped off, so I don't know. It could be a version of one. They say the reeks were oftentimes found in the ranches of Tatooine. So again, the same kind of place. I mean, perhaps. I don't know. But the whole point is, I love seeing our space cowboy of sorts just lasso him with that wrist grappler and wrangle him in the mud. It just looks like a lot of fun. I have to say, it looks like a good time. So now here we see little Ugnaught Queel giving our Mandalorian a pat on the back. Maybe perhaps a job well done gesture. Just signifies the relationship that they have again. This looks like, you know, something that just shows that he's going to be with him through a lot of perhaps the show, and I'm not mad about it. I think he's an interesting looking character, and if he is voiced by Nick Nolte, that's going to make him even more interesting to me, so I'm looking forward to that. So, and now we see my man, Mr. Carl Weathers, playing Grief Karga, the head of a bounty hunter guild. And let's just put aside for the fact that he's wearing only half a jacket. I don't understand that decision. I'm hoping I will understand the decision later, but it's odd to me for now. So we're putting that aside. That being said, looking at the cast of aliens around him, it's really interesting to see the diversity. So many different looks. And I am just loving the obvious thought that went into this all the character choices in this series. You can tell that under no circumstances that they wanted us to be bored in this trailer, in this, and I'm assuming the show. It's just just the beautiful detailing and differences of all these creatures they put in here. It really brings me back almost to the originals again, where we got our first whiff of all of this beautiful creativity with George Lucas's A New Hope. You know, again, going back to that Mos Eisley Cantina scene where you just see this array of different kinds of creatures and characters, and it really just made you feel like you were just somewhere else. And I loved that, and I kind of feel that way again here now. So now we get another glimpse of the MMA fighter, Cara Dune. She's being played by Gina Carano. Yeah, she has an interesting role in this series. Probably one of the most interesting to me in terms of storyline for a supporting character. She's an ex-shock trooper. So I feel like this is really similar to those of you who are gamers and have played the Battlefront 2 main story mode. You might recall the main protagonist, Iden Versio. You know, she was an Imperial trooper who ended up aiding the rebellion. So, you know, I'm wondering if this is a similar kind of storyline, or I just want to know what happened. Yeah, so also Cara Dune's character really gives me Bobby Draper vibes from The Expanse. Any Expanse fans in here? You might know what I'm talking about. She's got that, there's that, like, I'm gonna kick your butt look. And I like it. You know, she's really tough, and it works for Bobby Draper, it works for Cara Dune. I'm digging it. So the other thing is, you know, this interaction with the Mandalorian, I do like it. It just shows they got each other's backs, and yeah, I think they're definitely going to be kind of close knit in this series. Okay guys, so here's another great scene for us to kind of chew on a little bit. We've got Breaking Bad's Giancarlo Esposito here playing the role of Moff Gideon. Now, Moff is not his first name. Moff is like a title or a ranking within the Republic for all the Imperial officers, kind of to show their distinguishment. And Giancarlo, in an interview at D23, kind of spoke a little bit to his character, so I'm going to play that clip here right now.
You know, Moff Gideon is very complex, and I love playing complex characters. He is somewhere in a shade of gray. You look at him and you immediately think, oh, he's going to be the evil guy. Yes, he is an imperial, an ex-imperial soldier who was very high up in the Empire at one point, and he became a marshal and given his own land and proved himself. He's extremely knowledgeable. And so will he use his power for good or evil is still a question.
So it appears that Moff Gideon and his squad of stormtroopers and death troopers have just shot up this building, right? Well, remember a bit ago when I told you guys to make a mental note of that door with the 3 holes to the right of it? So if you look closely, you can see that there's that door. They are facing that door with their blasters just ready to go. And so what we know, we saw that other clip, but yeah, Mandalorian's pretty much going to charge out of that door and blast everybody around him. So I'm really looking forward to that scene. He's basically going to be a total badass, and I'm here for it. So, and of course, we got some more of that IG-11, 360 shooting spree. And yeah, I'm extremely excited to hear Taika Waititi's voice giving IG-11 some fun character, probably a unique juxtaposition of his voice narration with the death-dealing blows that IG-11 just gives, because he's essentially like a death-giving droid. He's just like, death for you all, death for everybody. It's just consistently like 360. It's pretty cool. But using Taika Waititi's, it's obvious comedic relief. But I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. And the backdrop behind IG-11, it seems to be the same location of Moff Gideon's assault. So I'm assuming this is the same scene, and perhaps he's going to be backup for the Mandalorian. So who's this lady lovingly removing his helmet? I kind of want to know. The only little hint that perhaps could indicate this is a flashback would be, again, he's wearing armor that's worn down. So either it's towards the beginning of his storyline, or it could be, a flashback to an earlier point. I'm not really sure, but I'm really interested to find out who she is and her history with him. So hopefully we'll find out soon. Okay, so first off, Cara Dune's rifle sounds pretty awesome here. I love the sound it makes. But that aside, I just wanted to say that real quick. I think this clip is purposefully edited to make us assume that Cara Dune is up against triple blaster wielding Bill Burr's character. I'm just not so sure about that, though. I really don't think that's the case. But speaking of Bill Burr and that amazing shoulder blaster he dons, anyone else get the Predator vibes, or is it just me? Like, that totally reminded me of Predator. But anyway, with that in mind, I did a little digging to see if there were any other Star Wars characters that had something like that similar with them, like a shoulder piece of some kind. And I ended up finding one, just one. It was very obscure. But I did find it, and it's Mr. Dash Rendar, if you might recall him from Solo and a few other things. I mentioned this on Twitter, that I thought that this could be the case. And I heard the backlash, okay? I know the likeness is not there. I know he looks nothing like him. I know Bill Burr's bald, okay? I get it. Dash has a great hairline. But consider the timeline here, okay? Perhaps this is an older Dash. Perhaps the Dash we knew had a receding hairline that was very well covered then, and we didn't quite know that it was there. But over time, that hair ended up falling out, and we ended up with a bald Bill Burr Dash, and that's okay. No judgments here. But I'm just saying, there's crazier things that have happened, right? I mean, which of you had thought that, oh yeah, Team Favreau's gonna cast Bill Burr in the first place? I mean, that's pretty crazy. That, to me, that is crazier than Bill Burr playing Dash Rendar, right? I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. So the other thing playing in my corner here is that Dash Rendar is a smuggler outlaw, and in articles that I read about Bill Burr's character, he is also a supposed outlaw. So another similarity there. Ultimately, I think Bill Burr's character is going to be a wild card of sorts that we're just going to have to get confirmation on later in the show. They are all tight-lipped about who he plays, and perhaps it's for a really good reason. Perhaps that is, for a reprisal of a role of someone that we do know. Just thinking about it. I don't know. Hey, we got a jetpack. I think our Mandalorian is fully leveled up here, all right, sporting that iconic jetpack whilst wrist grappling his way onto Moff Gideon's TIE fighter, doing a little peekaboo up top. Yeah, that's pretty epic, I think. That was an awesome little clip, right? I want more of that. I hope for lots more of that in this show.
Yeah? Good.
Well, there he is, the voice behind the helmet. And as far as first impressions go, I think he sounds pretty awesome. So, with all the buzz around this last trailer, I'm sure you want to know when the episodes are supposed to drop. So, here's the planned dates. And as you can see, episodes 7 and 8 are sort of changed up a bit so that they do not conflict with the Rise of Skywalker release. Yeah, so be sure to get these on your calendar so that you have them down. You know when you can watch the newest episode on Disney Plus, and then right after that, come check out my channel, because chances are I'll either have a live stream with instant reactions of the episode, or I will have a review shortly following it. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. So if you're interested in some more Mandalorian secrets, set leaks, spoilers, all that kind of stuff, be sure to check out my last video that I just dropped a couple days ago. I'll go ahead and leave the link right up there. Yeah, and you guys, if you have predictions of your own, I want to hear them. What did you think of my predictions? Leave that all in the comments down below. I read all the comments, you guys, all of them, and I usually respond to most of them. So if you have anything you want to say about that, please, I'd love to hear it. You guys are smart, y'all are witty, y'all are sometimes pretty hilarious. So I would love to hear your thoughts. And again, everybody, thank you for stopping by my channel. And until next time, fandom, bye.